Are you curious about bodies, pleasure, and possibilities? And what about curious about what others are up to on the planet when it comes to pleasure, sex, and play? Have you considered what pleasure can do for your life, your body, and your bank account? Do you know something magical, delightful, and out of this world orgasmic is not only possible for you, but totally available to you? If you're ready to be the magical, sexual, sexy beast you know you can be, and you just need the tools to get there, you're in the right place. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, sensual movement artist, relationship and sex alchemist, Milica Jelenic.
Welcome, my sweet pleasure seekers. So for those of you who saw this title and were like, we're talking more about having energetic orgasms, like, didn't you just do that topic? Yeah, we did that topic, and I realized when I did that topic that I only got to the very basic fundamentals of how to connect. So this is the next step in energetic orgasms and distance intimacy. And this is actually like a very kind of a fun topic for me, because I think this is like one of those kinds of ways that we can have sexual interaction and be very physically safe. Like, you're not going to get an STD from this. You're not going to get pregnant from it, but you can still have a lot of pleasure. So I think that's delightful. I did talk about energetic orgasms, I think, quite a lot during the start of COVID, looking for alternatives for people so that they weren't feeling disconnected from everyone and everything. So now we're years after this, right? We're in 2023, and we are looking at energetic orgasms just for the sheer joy of it. For those of you who didn't listen to the first section I did, which the air date was, I believe, in February of 2023, I believe. February 28th, I believe. So if you didn't hear that episode, go back and have a listen, because it's a fundamental, basic foundation of what we're going to be playing with. I'm going to give you a little lowdown, rundown, quick review of that, and then we're going to move into some more fun. Looking at how do we have these connections with a lover who's maybe far away? How do we have these connections? Maybe your partner travels a lot and you'd like to find a way to connect to them without using, apps that have sex toys attached to them or virtual sex things. This is a very different way to do it. Although I'm sure that the people who created the virtual sex toys were kind of in similar thought of like, how do we do this from a distance? We'll be looking at connecting to your lover near and far. So we'll start with that. Then we're going to do a little bit of fun with a little bit of astral travel, or you might have heard it called out-of-body experiences. Now, to really get deep into an out-of-body experience, if you've never had one, it can take sometimes a few hours or a few tries to get to that. So if you don't get it on the first try with this, don't worry about it. I'm giving you the basic foundation of what to do. And if you want to learn more about how to do that, then absolutely connect with me through milicajelenic.com. You can set up a 15-minute free time with me so that we can connect and see if I'm a fit for you for coaching. Then we're going to also play with some energies of what you can feel in person or from a distance. And that question of how is this even possibly real, right? So we're going to look at that. So it's pretty fun. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but if you have ever experienced an orgasm that is not from touch alone, or if you've experienced an orgasm in a different way that maybe was just through words, then you might have had kind of an inkling of what it feels like to have an energetic orgasm. So some people get really, really turned on by smells, by sounds of voices saying naughty words. Sometimes people solely get turned on by touch, and sometimes people get turned on by the energetics of things. There is actually something called the blueprint, the sexual blueprint, or the blueprint of touch. Anyway, touch blueprint, and done by a sexologist. And she created this amazing way to figure out your blueprint of touch. And if you do have in your blueprint of touch really high level of energetic touch being something that turns you on, then energetic orgasms are definitely fun for you. So let's start with you knowing who I am, because I just talked for 5 minutes and didn't even tell you. So my name is Milica Jelenic. For those of you who are brand new to this station, I have been on the air for over 8.5 years, over 400 episodes of The Pleasure Zone. You can go back into the podcasts and find them. They are on all of the great podcast places, along with TV, different TV locations. The 400 podcasts available on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google, you name it, it's there. So go back and check that out, and find some of the episodes that might interest you. If you're not really sure where to start or what to go, where to go from, like what topic would interest you, or what is the content of some of the episodes, because they might not be as obvious to you when you read the titles, send me a note, let me know, and I'm happy to assist. So you can also write to me via my website as well, milicajelenic.com. That's MILICAJELENIC.com. And you can just go over there, send me a message, and we can connect. So what do? I am a sex and intimacy coach, as well as a holistic health practitioner. I work with bodies using different techniques with somatic body work. I do some other things with biophysics, energy technologies. And for those of you watching a video, you'll see that I work with a range of different things like gemmotherapies and different vitamins and things like that. So one of the most fun things I love to do is bring people from a place of trauma into a place of pleasure. And for a lot of people, we don't even know that there's been trauma. So there are lots of indicators of trauma. If you have heart conditions, if you have digestive conditions, your body is undergoing a level of stress that could be from something that is really old, like an old trauma that your body's reliving repeatedly over and over again. There are a lot of other conditions that are indicators of trauma as well. Sometimes they're obvious. Sometimes you're very aware of the trauma and your body hasn't resolved it, so it's still sitting in there and it is creating havoc. And I love working with people to change that. So if you have experienced trauma in any way and you would like to know more about what I can offer you, please feel free to go over to my website and book a 15-minute free call with me to see if I can assist you with anything like that. All right, so for fun, let's go back and recap what we did in a really quick way. So on the last episode, we connected with our bodies. And when we connect with our bodies, you might feel your feet connecting deeply. And we're just going to do some rhythmic breathing of in and out. So in for 5 through your nose, and out for 5 through your nose. This is called normal breathing. We're just going to do normal breathing and get our bodies to connect. So you continue with your normal breathing, in for 5, out for 5, through your nose, in for 5, out for 5. We're going to connect, just noticing your body, noticing your feet, your legs, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your genitals, moving up to your hips, into your belly button, moving up to under your rib cage, your breasts, your clavicles, your arms, your neck, your head, and the top of your head. And we're just going to notice and connect with your body. And then we'll start with putting one hand on your heart chakra. So your heart chakra sits kind of between your breasts. You can't really go wrong by placing your hands somewhere in that general area. You're going to connect with you. Continuing with your in for 5, out for 5 normal breathing, just connect with your breath and just notice if your body changes any intensity of breathing, where it might breathe deeper, or it might happen on the exhale. As your body relaxes, you might notice more and more the desire for the deep breath in, and then on the exhale. So connect with your body and just let it make its noises on the exhales or on the inhales as you breathe deeply to connect with and get really in tune with your body. So we're just going to connect hand to heart, breathing in. And as we did before, we're going to connect this time to our bodies first, and then we'll connect to your partner's body, near or far. We're going to connect to the bodies before we go any further into anything that would be construed as sexual. So for those of you who are listening and you have children around, if you feel like it's not appropriate for them to be listening, make sure that you put them in another room. This is content that is mature content, so keep that in mind. So connecting with your heart with the deep breathing in for 5, out for 5, continuing to connect with your heart chakra. As you bring the breath down, you're going to bring it down to what's called your lower dantian. So just your hand on your belly, under your belly button. And we're going to connect with that breath in for 5, out for 5. Now, if you've been practicing this for the last 2 weeks from the last episode that we did on energetic orgasms, you might be really quick at connecting with this now, as you might have done this daily practice. So connecting with the body in for 5, out for 5. Allowing your body to just really feel any nuances. Wherever there's stress, you can move, shake it out, move it out. Your body likes to release. So if it does want to move and shake and wiggle, it wants to yawn, burp, fart, any of that, that's cool. We're just going to get things released. So there's space for you to be able to receive kindness, love, gratitude, orgasm. As your body gets more peaceful, you might be surprised at how much more turned on it gets too. So as we move from that lower dantian area, we're going to hold on to your genitals. So that's your root chakra, and you're going to hold on to that area. It's your root, and we're going to connect also with your sacral chakra. So just holding and breathing in for 5 and out for 5. In for 5, out for 5. Just connecting with your body in a calm way, noticing any stress and tension that you might have in your body, and just breathing it out. 5, out for 5. So you can do that through your nose. I did it there for a second through my mouth because my nose was stuffy. And when you feel like a sense that maybe your hands are warming up a little bit, things feel a little bit more as though you're really aware that your hand is on your genitals, and there may be heat there may be cooling, there may be a different sensation in your hands, something may be shifting. And if you don't notice that, that's okay too. Sometimes it takes practice, and sometimes even if you're really good at this and you've been doing energy work your whole life, some days are just days where it doesn't turn on, and that's okay too. There are other things that you can do preparatory to get your body to turn on, stimulating things like your kidneys and doing a bunch of other stuff. That's a story for another day. For now, we're just going to assume that your body is ready and we're connecting you, and you got the connection to your heart, to your lower dantian, and to your genitals, right into your root chakra and into your the sacral and root area, connecting to your body. Now, if you happen to have a lover there with you in front of you as your partner in flesh and blood in the same room with you, you can connect with them too, as we did in the last episode, where you connect your hand. You'll put You'll put your hand on their heart and they'll put their hand over you. You'll do your deep breathing, synchronizing your breathing, then connecting to their lower dantian, their hand, your hand on theirs, their lower dantian, then their hand on top of you, connecting to you. And then you can also connect with the genitals. So you can do that while we head to the commercial break. It might take you more than 2 minutes. So when we come back, we'll check in and see how you feel, connect to those areas, and keep your breathing calm. In for 5, out for 5, connecting with each other's breaths so that your breath becomes rhythmic. You're listening to The Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. So for those of you who had your lover on hand, literally on hand, in your presence, and you had a chance to practice the connections that we did in the episode a few episodes ago with connecting energetically to prepare for energetic orgasms, you might feel some heat and energy moving through your hands. You might still be at that heart chakra area. You might be moving to the lower dantian. You might already be connecting with their genitals. So when you have and you are connected in those spaces and your breathing is rhythmic and you're feeling good and you're feeling calm, this is a great time to find a position. So one person will be the receiver and one person will be the gifter. So find a position that you're comfortable in. So if you're comfortable in a chair or if you're comfortable in a bed or on the floor, be sure that you're going to be comfortable for a while, like a good 20 or more minutes, because you want to be able to let this person receive for as long as they'd like to, and it could be hours. So get comfy. Also have things ready around you, like have some water, have different little snacks around, because sometimes with energy stuff you can get really hungry, and having things like some beautiful fresh fruit around can be lovely to snack on. Having water for or electrolytes around, because your body can use up, it can feel almost like having a workout, because your body will do things like contractions sometimes with this work. So I don't recommend doing this as a living. I want to put this out there as well, just because you're practicing this. This is for fun. This is for curiosity, and this is for experimenting with your lover. This is not for you having a career, but there are ways that you can do this work as a career, and you would need to be qualified. You need to get training, you need to get qualified. So you can be a tantric practitioner. There are different somatic types of body work that will have these kinds of responses as well. And there are lots of different methods to be able to have energetic orgasms, but training is definitely essential if that's something that you want to do as a career. So if you're not doing it as a career and you're just doing it to play with your partner, it is fun to take some expert classes in this as well. And if you'd like to know more about those, feel free to connect with me. If I'm not available for them, then I will probably know some people who are. So what we want to do is be able to connect with your lover now. So your lover is going to get cozy, comfy. If you happen to have something like a massage table, that can be pretty convenient so that they can lay down. You can stand up or sit down, and you can be in a lot of comfortable positions. So once everybody's comfy, get your partner to lie down. The receiver is going to lie down in whatever position feels comfortable for them. So if they're on their tummy, leave them on their tummy. If they're on their back, leave them on their back. If they're on their side, leave them that way. So just let them be in a position that they feel comfortable. Now, also before we start, it's really important to have some words in place that would be like safety words, right? So having your clear, defined place that you can say like no, because maybe this touch could become, it could bring up some things because we're working not just with the physical body with sex, we're also working with energetics. And sometimes that brings up memories, feelings, could bring up, sometimes it'll bring up some traumatic stuff. Not always, but sometimes. So have a defined word in place. I don't recommend more is not a good word for giving clear definition for something to stop. So having your safety words in place. Something that's really clear that people use a lot is red, yellow, and green. So red is like stop. Yellow is this is getting a little uncomfortable, like streetlights, and green is a go. And with green, you often don't have to say green unless you're wanting to encourage your partner that this is working for you. So with the energetics, just like with any other play, it's really important to respect your partner's boundaries and their wishes, and especially to have consent. Okay, so get your happy, safe words in place. You get your safety space in place. You have your partner lying in a position where they're comfortable. You can ask before you start if there are any parts of their body that are an absolute no for touching. So for me, I don't like to have my ears touched or my nose really touched much. So those would be a no zone. And for other people, it might be like, don't touch my buttocks or don't touch my feet. And it can change. So it's always good to check in and see what the no zones are for touch. So even though we're going to do energetics on this one, this will be with a partner in person. Your hands will go on their body or slightly above their body. We're going to start, if whatever position they're lying in, you can either put your hand at the lower part of their spine, if they're lying on their side, or if they're lying on their tummy, so that you can put your hand on their lower side of their spine, just above their bum. And if they're lying on their back, you can put your hand so that your fingers rest just above their pubic bone. And you can put your other hand on their heart, and we're going to get their body activated. So you're going to hold their body just like that. So if you're watching this on video and you happen to be a highly sensitive person, you might feel this as a distance healing from me, as well as a distance orgasmic energetic response in your body. So we're just going to hold this and be really present. No expectations. No, I'm going to give an orgasm. It's just that bodies sometimes respond orgasmically to being woken up energetically. And your hands might wiggle and they might move, and just let them do whatever they're doing. Be present with that body. And just notice where the body is moving. I'm aware of an energetic body under my hands right now. I'm aware of that. So it might look like I'm responding to nothing, but I'm actually quite aware of someone. So Just let that body respond. Oh. And their body might move and it might heave and it might do some interesting responses. If it does nothing, that's okay too. And you can check. You can check and feel if there's like a magnetic kind of pull or like a feeling of taffy between your hands and their body. When you can pull, you can feel that sense of taffy and you can kind of pull up on it. There'll be a sticking point where it feels like it won't go any further. And so you just hold it there. You kind of tease it a bit and just start to lift it a little bit more and just see how their body responds to that. And then you can go back down and touch full on the body. Again, one hand just above either the tail, like on the tailbone, or just above the pubic bone holding, and the other one on the heart. Now, if your partner's okay with it, you can actually hold their genitals and just cup them, just like you were when you were doing the breathwork connection. And as we do this, even with your hands on, you're going to connect with their breath. And you can bring in the breath of, it's like the very relaxing ah sound. And you might have heard people make those sounds even when they are feeling orgasmic in their bodies, like, it's feeling deeply and relaxing deeply and receiving deeply. And that's what we want to initiate and instigate in the body. And you can bring it on. That's not faking an orgasm, by the way. That's allowing your body to initiate a response through breathing and through sound. So breathing in, just let that come out of your body, however it sounds. Yeah, I'm doing it in front of all you guys. And yes, I know it might not sound super sexy. It's your body relaxing. And be present with it and just hold their body as they relax into that. And you might notice that it starts to respond different, and they might ask for something, and they might actually want you to move your hands more. So you might move your hand even off the body. And when you do, when you go off the body, you might notice even a bigger response. So you could be off the body, you could be a foot away from the body or 5 feet away from the body, and the body will sometimes still respond. Some bodies are highly sensitive and can respond. They can respond to feeling from even via video. I have several clients who have that kind of sensitivity that they can respond either via video or through even through the phone. They'll feel it. So distance is not really relevant unless you make it relevant. And then when you know that you can receive deeply from any distance, your body will be able to relax and trust even more. It's really important that when you're doing this work that your partner feels safe. The person receiving needs to feel safe and needs to feel like they can stop this at any time. Because if any memories do come up for them, if there was any trauma in their childhood and something about this touch brings that up, they may want you to stop. So they may say red, and then you need to go hands off and let them do their thing until they're ready. Right? So you're just going to play with that. If until they say stop, you just let them do whatever they're doing. They're going to respond, and their body is going to have likely some, even if it's subtle, it'll have some kind of a reaction. It may just go into a deep relax, but the target is to invite and invoke having all of the areas of the genitals stimulated. And if they're not stimulating very fast, what we're going to do is move the energy up the legs from the feet. And so you can move it either through gentle touch or through a light massage. You don't have to be a massage expert. You're going to just move it up the legs, and we're going to move all the energy towards the groin. Where oftentimes with massage, you'll move energy towards the heart. With this one, we're going to move it all towards the genitals. So you're going to bring all of it to the center and towards the genitals, and then you're going to bring it from the other leg all the way down. So through light touch or through massage, you're going to bring that energy to the genitals. That's if their body's not responding, you can initiate it more with enhancing the energy and bringing it there. And then you're going to bring it from their arms all the way down their body, right to the genitals, doing both sides so that the body's balanced. If they're on their back, you can do that quite easily. If they're on their side, you might need to switch sides so you can do both sides. If they're laying on their back, then being able to get to those parts, you might want to manipulate their body a bit in a different way by holding it underneath and moving from their shoulders. You would move the energy down to their genitals. So you can put your hands under their body. If they like lying on their back instead, you can put your hands under it and manipulate the energy down. So that one's a little bit trickier, and it does require sometimes some learning on that front. But for the sake of today's show and keeping this to an hour rather than a 5-day class, so we're going to move on to the next segment. So you guys keep playing with bringing that energy in and right directing it to the genitals. We will connect it to the heart as well, keeping those hands there. If there's already activity going, keep your hands going there because it will crescendo. So we'll keep that going. You are listening to the Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Interested in masturbating for money, copulating for consciousness, and pleasuring on purpose? 21 Days of Sexual Magicism with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic is an exploration of tools, processes, and actions that you can use to create more for your life, your body, your money inflows, and so much more. Graduated learning for all levels of interest. Learn at your own pace via video classes or join the yearly live class. Take a peek at www.milicajelenic.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@MilicaJelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. For those of you who are listening, this is the next steps in energetic orgasm. So the very first steps that we talked about was connecting with your lover. And I did an entire episode on that. And we did a little recap at the beginning of this episode of how to do that. And then moving on to other things so that the body can actually receive more and more, connecting more energetically right into the genitals, so that we're bringing the energy there intentionally through touch, through focus, through movement, you want to be able to have the body feel as if like there is, it's like a tsunami of energy that moves through the body, and it's going to culminate right into the genitals. So that is one way we can do this. The body itself, from head to toe, is orgasmic. We were created by orgasm. So whether, however we were created, there was sperm involved, and in order to get that sperm out of the body, an orgasm had to happen. So we were all created from that. So from head to toe, we are walking orgasmic energy. It's just that we need to remember to wake that up, and we can direct it towards the genitals, because most people experience or feel or have the idea that they need to experience orgasms in their genitals, but you can absolutely have full body orgasms. For today, we're going to bring it into the genitals so that you can get a highly concentrated sensation in there. For those of you who are just coming back to listening, we did talk about some of the hands-on stuff in the last segment, so go back and listen to that. If you're wondering who I am and you're just jumping on right now, my name is Milica Jelenic. I'm a sex and intimacy coach. I work with people through my own private practice of working with them through sex and intimacy coaching, as well as holistic health. As a holistic health practitioner, and I work with many different modalities that I've learned over the last almost 30 years. Yeah, so it's been a long time. So for those of you who are now got your hands on your partner, continue to do that work where you're bringing the energy to the genitals. Check with them on how they feel about the touch you're giving them. Maybe they would like heavier touch, maybe they would like light touch, maybe they would like just light stroking, or maybe they would like you to hover above their body, because they could be super sensitive and their body doesn't need direct touch. It could actually be orgasmic from a distance, and that's really cool. So we're going to activate those areas of the body, and just let the body breathe in and then the out. Oh. And just continue that breathing, guys. So you can put this on pause, and I'd like you to continue that breathing while the person that's gifting has got their hands concentrated down by the genitals and one at the heart, and you're rhythmically breathing together, following the person on the table's breath work, just so that you can, it's like creating a resonance with their sound and with their vibration. You can do different things with that, but that's another lesson for another day on how to shift that through sound work. For today, you're just going to resonate with them and be present. And as I realize as I'm talking, there are so many levels to this that this really is like an entire weekend workshop or more. Anyway, so have fun for now playing and experimenting with hands-on, seeing how your body or the partner's body responds. No expectations of having sex after, like no expectations of penetrative sex or even oral sex or anything like that. This is sheerly for the experimentation, pleasure, and curiosity of, wouldn't it be fun to see if we could have energetic orgasms? This is curiosity, fun, and play. There's no defined target here other than curiosity, pleasure, and play. All right. So continue to have fun with that. Switch partners, do the same thing. I want to let you guys know that as much as you might think that something would feel good, your partner might not like the same thing. So you need to continually have some communication going on. And remember, the person on the table is in charge. So if they say red, you need to stop right away, or whatever your safety word is. You need to stop when they say that safety word. And if you're approaching yellow, you need to be aware that you could be soon approaching red. And you honor that, because that is going to develop greater trust with your partner. And the more your partner trusts you, the more they can relax. And the more they can relax, the more they can receive. And the more they can receive, the more intensified the energetic orgasms can be. Another thing you might want to think about as I'm realizing I'm going to backtrack on this is that you also be in an environment where you feel like you can make these noises without, having the police knock on the door wondering what you're doing, or maybe if you have kids, and maybe make sure the kids are well asleep or hanging out with somebody else for the night when you first try this and experiment with this, so that your breathing isn't disturbing for them. So it may sound very different to them. Sometimes little kids get scared by those things, but keep that breathing going in, and then out. Just let it rip. Just let those noises come out of your body. Let your body connect with them. It can be so gratifying, even just to do the noises. Your body can go into my body. I know that my body does this. My body, when I do those sounds enough, my body will go into like a wave response, and it will have like an orgasm from just noises. So you can initiate those and instigate those, adding that sound to it. So have fun with that. I said in the beginning of the show that we are going to look at how to do this from a distance. So I do want to get you guys into a mode where you can get ready for that, because we are going to be approaching the last segment of the show in just a few minutes. So I really want you to enjoy that area. That is a real simple taster on what you can do. On the energetic travel front with astral travel, that is something that you want to also set up a time, a place with your lover, that if they're far away, so that they can actually lay down and receive as if they are in the same room with you. So they're not like off operating heavy machinery and they might be sensitive, and then you knock them over with a blowjob from a distance. So you want to be able to have them be present, in receiving mode, relaxed, and actually communicating with you too. They can communicate either via like phone or a chat or whatever, via video, whatever you like to do. It's a lot different than this was like 20, 25 years ago, when we didn't have easy access to people, and also when long distance cost a lot of money. So this is a whole new world where things are way more accessible, and doing this and having communication with your lover at the same time can be really helpful to see how their response is and what they like. And they can even request, right, some different things from you, and they might actually feel your presence. Some people can feel that when you travel, astral travel. So I will be walking you guys through that. I'm going to start with walking you through it, because even during the commercial break, you can be off on your travel mode while I get you started. So you're going to get your feet anchored in, get yourself grounded, do some of that 5-5 breath work with your nose, getting your body grounded, doing some deep inhales. And exhales, and just getting your body to be relaxed, connected, and having a sense of where your partner is in the world, your lover is in the world. Having their picture can be helpful, or having them on video can be helpful, so that you have a place that you're targeting yourself to astral travel to. So when I first learned astral travel, we weren't told where we were going, and we were given things in an envelope. It was, you couldn't see what was inside of it, and you were to travel to the place that whatever was in the picture that was inside the envelope, or whoever was in the picture in the envelope, and then write down notes, and you would have somebody work with you, facilitate you, so that you would hone in on that. So there is an art to astral travel. Again, that would be an entire workshop. I did take many workshops on that. So that would be a whole other workshop, but just for fun, just for now, just for ease, if you have access to your lover, they're on video with you, you can have a sense that you are just going, and as if you're sitting right in front of them. We're going to simplify this. It's as if you're sitting right in front of them, sitting in the same room with them, sitting beside them, and they're hanging out with you. You might even start to notice or have a sensation that, oh yeah, they're right there. You can feel that. You can feel that sensation there. There's like a different density in the air. Some people smell that. Some people can see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, all of that. So all those senses can be used on a more heightened awareness level. So as we head to commercial break, keep your body grounded. Have a sense of being connected to your lover wherever they are in the world. You can envision them in your mind. If you don't have a picture of them, close your eyes, see them in your mind. And if you have a picture of them, look at that picture, get it memorized in your mind, close your eyes, travel out to your lover. By travel out, it's really that simple. You just go seek them, like a GPS tracking them. You can go find them. Take some deep breaths in and out, and keep your steady breathing as we go into commercial break. You're listening to The Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email. info@MilicaJelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, my pleasure seekers, my sweet pleasure seekers, as you are traveling off to your lovers via astral travel, out-of-body experience, remote viewing, whatever you want to call it. And you're there, you're with them. So as you're there and as you're present with them, this is a situation which is identical to being with them physically. You can absolutely connect energetically again, heart, dantian, right into the genitals if you want. And you can also, if you're just in their presence, at this kind of place of play with energetic orgasms, it can actually be just like any other sex you're having, and it's not necessarily bring that body to energetic orgasm, although they may have an experience of orgasmic energy. This is astral travel on crack, because you're like about to engage in having some contact or sensory experience, I think is a better word for it. So if you know what your lover looks like, smells like, tastes like, touches like, all those senses can come back in, and you can tap into them really easily. You can imagine them. They can be standing naked in front of you, lying on the bed naked, spread eagle, whatever position you enjoy. And because you have agreement in advance that this is what's taking place, that you are able to connect with them, and it won't feel like an invasion of their privacy, and it won't feel like an invasion of their body. So you want to make sure that you have this agreement, just like you would if you were having sex normally. You're going to have an agreement and consent going on. So you have the consent in place, you're off traveling to your lover, and you are hanging out with them. And you can start with some really fun things. You could start with just having foreplay. Absolutely. You can start with touching their body from a distance, stroking maybe their head, stroking their back, stroking all the not so obvious places so that their body starts to feel tantalized, turned on. And then as you have that sensation moving through, you can bring that up into their body. And as their body starts to respond, if you are texting with them, if they're aware of that and they're responding to you, then they might actually say, oh yeah, I can feel that, and then just move on. They might even request things like, can you touch my nipples? Can you stroke my, I won't say the words because I don't want to have to be thrown off air, but you know, you can stroke the good stuff and have fun with that. So going in, you could have oral sex with your lover from a distance. You can kiss the nape of their neck. You could do things that you might not even normally do when you are physically present, because you might not feel comfortable, say, giving a rim job in real life, but energetically you feel fine about it. So you might be really creative and curious, and all kinds of things might come out of your curiosity when it's energetic and you're doing astral travel energetic sex than would necessarily come out when you are in person. And it's one way to kind of test the waters and see how you feel about it. And it can be something that you can add even to your own masturbation session, where you can be masturbating, astral travel, hang out with your lover, so your body's experiencing an orgasm and you're transmitting that orgasm out to them. Do you see how this can get really fun, and quite a number of different ways that we can play with energetic orgasms? There's a whole world of experiences that can be had. So for now, we're just going to go back to, you've astral traveled to your lover. What would you like to do? What would they like you to do to them? Use your senses. What do they smell like? Do you want to just nuzzle into their armpits? Do you want to nuzzle into their genitals? Like, do you want to just smell all those pheromones up really hardcore and just like breathe them in like they're low life force? Breathe them in. See how your body responds to that. The body remembers these smells, and it will trigger some really cool responses in the body. Your body also remembers your lover's touch, so you can breathe that in. Now, if this is a lover you've never been with before and you don't know what any of that feels like, you can have a sense of this anyway. You can still have sensations. It's not necessary that you've been with them in person at some point, and you can play. So whatever you've done in real life, you can translate that over to your out-of-body experience with your lover, and even more than that. And you can pause this at this point. The show's almost done. So you can just enjoy that whole session. When you are done, come back to this, because you do want to wrap up and you want to come back to being present in your body, not in their space. Closing up the space that you were in with them, so that it's clear that you're in one part of the world or they're in another part of the world, or they could even just be down the road. It doesn't really matter. They could be in another room too, and you're still doing this for fun, for practice. So you're going to bring all that energy back to you. You're going to get really still, really present. And this whole time you should have had your eyes closed so that you're experiencing all the senses without any. You can even experience sight, but it'll be an internal sight that you're having a visualization. So being able to experience all of these senses, even being in a darker room, can help, so that you don't have anything like externally that could be influencing you, waking you up, or disturbing you in any way. You could have music on to enhance this as well, so that any other sounds in the background can fade away and you can be present. And then when you come back, just see how you feel. It can be so much fun, and there's so many ways to play with this. We're starting simple.
Thank you for listening to The Pleasure Zone with sensual movement artist Milica Jelenic. The Pleasure Zone returns next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.